Hello, my name is Pamela Brown, District Graduation Coordinator, and I have with me District Graduation Coach Becky Moats, and we'll be sharing with you Project Graduation. Are you on track? We'll be talking about graduation requirements because 100% graduation is our business. But before we share about graduation requirements, I would like to share this free FAFSA Frenzy event with you. Yes, I said free. You can get assistance at St. Johns River State College on Monday, October 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. with filling out your FAFSA financial aid application. So you and your parents can go there and there will be individuals to help you enter all your information. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this invite. Now let's talk about graduation requirements. GPA. GPA must be at least a 2.0. That means you should make A's, B's, and C's because that will help you maintain a GPA higher than a 2.0. When you make D's and F's, D's are worth 1 point and F's are worth no points at all. So that does not give you enough points for your GPA. Credits. 24 credits are required to graduate with a standard diploma or 18 credit accelerated diploma option. And that option is only for students who qualify. Online learning, Florida Virtual School, or FLVS. All students are required to take one FLVS course, or students can earn this requirement by participating in an online dual enrollment course. That is a college course given online. That course can be either a full year course or a 1 semester course. Testing requirements. Testing for graduation requirements are reading and math. You must take the FSA ELA for reading and the Algebra ELC for math. Required courses. To earn your high school diploma, you must complete all required courses. Those are the courses determined by the Florida Department of Education as the courses for your 24 credit standard diploma. When you complete those courses, they drop in your graduation bucket, and you'll get more information about that later. Attendance. Attendance is very important. Florida Statute 1003.436. Let's look at the definition. It specifies that one full credit means a minimum of 135 hours of bona fide instruction in a designated course of study. The hourly requirement for a half credit or 1 semester course is 67.5 hours. Please be careful and attend classes regularly. Please don't miss school, guys. Let's discuss GPA. That is your grade point average. What does a 2.0 look like exactly? A 2.0 looks like what I said earlier. You are making A's, B's, and C's, nothing lower. How do you fix or repair a GPA? If your GPA has fallen below a 2.0, you can retake courses, and you can do that by taking courses in the credit recovery program at your school or by taking FLVS or Florida Virtual School classes online to retake courses that you may have made a D or an F in. Also, how does testing affect your grades? Testing affects your grades by taking the biology, US history, and geometry EOCs. They count 30% toward your grade. Credits, let's talk about that again. There's a huge misunderstanding regarding credits. A 24 credit diploma is just that. You must have 24 credit diploma, but you must complete the required courses for that 24 credit diploma under each academic area. Also, for the 18 credit accelerated diploma option, you must complete the required courses for that diploma option. Online course, as I said before, can either be a half credit, which is one semester, or a full credit, which is a year-long course. Even if you have 29 credits, if they are not the required courses, you cannot graduate. So pay attention to your completion of required courses first, and then take other courses to have more credits when you graduate. But you need to have all required courses. Testing. The 10th grade FSA ELA is your reading state assessment. The algebra ELC is your math state assessment. If you do not pass those assessments, either in 10th grade for reading, or if you took algebra in middle school or in ninth or 10th grade and you have not passed it, you still have an opportunity to get a concordant score. Concordant scores are SAT of 430. Also on the SAT, you can get a reading sub score of 24 and still get credit for the concordant score. ACT reading, you can get a score of 19 on the ACT and meet the requirement for reading for graduation. For math, the concordant scores, you can get a 430 on the PSAT, National Merit Scholars Qualifying Test, or 420 on the SAT Math, a 16 on the ACT Math, or a 97 on PERT. Again, here to the right, you see biology ELC is worth 30% of your grade. The US history ELC and the geometry ELC are also worth 30% of your grade. Students who took these courses during the pandemic had their had this waived for them. So, students who are taking these courses this year, the 30% will be a part of your grade. For non-seniors, you can find your concordant score information on Florida DOE's website, or you can get that information from your counselor's office. Now, here are how required courses work. And these are your graduation buckets. These are the buckets you're trying to fill as you complete courses. 4 English courses taking in sequential order for 4 English credits, English 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 math, Algebra 1, Geometry with ELC, plus 2 other rigorous math electives. 3 sciences, Biology with ELC, plus 2 other rigorous science courses, which also must have lab components attached to them. 3 social studies, World History, US History with ELC, plus a half credit of US government, plus a half credit of economics. PE, a half credit of PE, physical education, and a half credit of personal fitness. And that will give you your full PE credit. 1 performing arts credit. 8 electives. Choose courses in our career technical education program that will allow you to have industry certifications before you graduate. That means you are ready for the workforce. And then 1 online course. That is not an additional credit. It is just 1 course that must be taken, one of those 24 credits. and it can be a half of year course, which is one semester, or a full year course.
Hi, everybody. My name is Becky Motes. I work at federal programs as well, and I'm one of the district graduation coaches. So I can't wait till I get to meet all of you and get to work with all of you. Today, we're going to be going over these graduation requirements as Ms. Brown just shared with you. And we're going to start off on your graduation check by taking a look at your graduation check form. If you do not have this form, please pause this presentation while your teacher hands out the graduation check form. Once you get this form, please go ahead and put your name on it, today's date. Don't fill out your diploma type just yet. I want us to wait until I go through the diploma options, and then you can fill that part out. Please put your cell phone number, your parent or guardian's name, and their contact number. All of these top parts should be filled out before we begin the presentation. If you need more time, please hit pause and we will start. This is your 9424 graduation report. If you're a senior, your report probably looks very similar to the sample you're seeing on the screen. If you're an 11th grader, yours probably is 2 pages long, but not quite the detail that's on this one. If you're a 9th or 10th grader, yours is probably still 1 page long. And if you're a middle schooler taking a look at this on your form, you're going to see some courses that say MJ in front of those courses. Those courses are middle school or junior level, and they will not count for graduation requirements, but they will be required for you to be promoted into high school. Once you get into high school, these are the ones that count for graduation. It's like money in the bank. This is kind of like your school bank account. So before we go into this, I need all of you to get out your 9424 reports. If you do not have them, please pause this presentation while your teacher passes them out. So you should have your 9424 reports in front of you along with your graduation check form. If you have both of those forms, let's get started. Take a look at your 9424, and we're going to start over here to the left-hand side where it says online learning, and yours will say met, hopefully, or in progress, if you're in progress, or not met, or you have a blank there. You really want that to say met. So that is your online requirement that is needed for graduation. Most students will take a class on Florida Virtual or My District Virtual. A lot of the questions that we get are, does it have to be a full credit class or can it be a half credit class? Well, if the course is only a half credit, yes, you can get that fulfilled by doing a half credit. For example, peer counseling, driver's ed, a PE course, economics, or American government. Those are all half credit courses. So if you complete those courses, it will say online learning met. If you take a course like English, which is a full credit course, or photography, that is a full credit course, you will see that you need to complete the full credit in order to meet the requirements. If you do not have this met, and especially if you are a senior, you need to make an appointment now with your guidance counselor so y'all can both determine what is the best course for you with your interest and skill level to get that requirement met, hopefully before second semester. Okay, so I think we're good with that. Let's move on to GPAs. Here we are. You have 3 levels of GPA, GPA 1, GPA 2, and GPA 3. GPA 1 is your unweighted GPA. This is hopefully a 2.0 or higher. You must have a 2.0 in order to walk across the stage and get a diploma. A 2.0 is a C average. So some students may say, well, my goodness, I made a D or an F early on in ninth grade. As long as you have enough A's or B's to counterbalance a D or an F here or there, you might still be above a 2.0. But if you have a lot of D's or a lot of F's, you will not have a 2.0 in order to graduate. So you need to make a plan now in order to repair your GPA. GPA 2 is your weighted GPA. This is what a lot of colleges will ask for on applications. Some scholarships will ask for weighted GPA. If you're trying to graduate with honors, you need to have a 3.5 for honor graduate status, a 3.75 for a magna cum laude, which means a graduate with high honors, or a 4.0 or higher in this category if you want to meet the summa cum laude graduate status, which is a graduate with the highest of honors. If you have a 3.5 or higher right now, I'd like you to raise your hand and pat yourself on the back. Good job. Okay, GPA number 3 is a funny category. It's really not used for anything other than your own self awareness and self knowledge. This GPA is your core GPA. That means it is derived from courses in English, math, science, and history categories. And what this GPA will tell you is if you do better in core classes or if you do better in elective classes. So if you take a look at your GPA number 3 and it is higher than your GPA number 1, that means you seem to do better in your core academic areas like English, math, science, and history. You're a more studious student. If your GPA 3 is lower than your GPA 1, that tells you and guidance counselors and colleges that you do better in elective courses, courses that maybe you have an interest in. So that does make sense. Okay, so we've talked about your GPA, we've talked about online learning. The next thing I want to talk about is your complete status credits. I do not like this category, I will tell you right now, because a lot of students see high numbers there. Like this student is a senior with 24 and a half credits. So this student may think, I'm on track to graduate. I'm going to graduate. Whoop, whoop. I have 24 and a half credits. No, that is not correct. That's why we do not like this category. It can lead to misunderstandings. I don't care if you have 42 credits, you will not graduate if you do not have a 2.0, if you have not met your online learning, or most importantly, you do not meet the requirements in these graduation buckets, which we're going to talk about. But let's put a pin in your credits for right now, because the most important piece of your transcript is right here. This is your testing category. And the reason that this category is the one that gets most of us in trouble is because this is your graduation test. And not all of us are great test takers. You might do well in classes, but when it comes to tests, you don't do so hot. And I feel for you, I truly do. And our seniors were even more impacted because they lost the last quarter of 11th grade where a lot of this testing happens. And so now you're in your senior year and you need to be sure that these categories are met. So let's talk about them. COMM stands for communication, and that is your reading test requirement. That is your FSA ELA reading test, or you can also meet the concordance score with the SAT or the ACT. Math is your algebra EOC, and either the FSA ELA reading or your algebra EOC. In order to be considered passing scores, you need to make a level 3 on those exams. If you have not made those level threes, you can try for the concordance score. In the reading, again, SAT and ACT has concordance scores. In your math category, you have PSAT, SAT, ACT. And if you are a senior, I'm going to repeat that because I do not want 11th graders, 10th graders, or 9th graders to hear this and get confused. If you are a senior in the class of 2021, you, my dears, are the last group that can make the concordance score with the PERT test, and you do need to make a 97 on that test. There are only a few chances left with the PERT before that test goes away. So if you do not have a yes in the math category, a Y, then you better see your counselor right now, today, and find out when the next PERT test is and how you can be a part of it. So when it comes to testing, all of you, not just seniors, do not go in and take a test when you are not prepared, whether you're taking the PSAT, the SAT, the ACT, the PERT, the FSA, the Algebra EOC. I could go on and on. Be prepared. Be prepared. You do not want to sit and waste a testing opportunity if you're not bringing your best game to this competition. Okay, enough about testing. So before we go into the buckets, let's identify barriers. So far on your graduation check form, you should now know, do you have any testing barriers that we need to talk about? Your FSA ELA reading, your algebra EOC. And if you do, there's those other tests that you can take to try for a concordance score. Do you have GPA issues? Are you right at a 2.0 or 2.1? Courses. We're going to get to that one. Florida virtual school class, your online class. Have you met it? Is that a barrier? We're going to talk about credit recovery next. So far on this form, name, date, cell phone number, parent name or guardian, phone number, contact number. Do you have a testing barrier? Do you have a GPA barrier? Do you have an online barrier for the Florida virtual class? Okay, let's go back to our presentation so we can look at those graduation buckets. All right, bucket number one. If you are a standard diploma, that means 24 credit standard Florida diploma. At the top of your 9424 report, it will tell you Florida standard diploma. And you will start your first bucket with American history. If you are an 18 credit accelerated diploma, at the top, yours will say accelerated diploma, and your first bucket will be English. So now you know on your graduation check form, are you going to check the 24 credit box or are you going to check the 18 credit accelerated diploma box? Now let's talk about your buckets. American history. This course has an EOC. However, you will notice this particular student took it in 2020. That means 2020 COVID year, all EOCs were waived. So this particular student has no EOC scores out here beside her grade. So we look at credits earned. This COMP stands for, everybody say it together, complete. This student is complete, one full credit, and we have her grades over here. Now, those are a lot of grades, so let's talk about them. I'm only going to talk about them once, so you'll know what they are in every other bucket. T1 is term 1, or your first 9 weeks. T2, term 2, or your second 9 weeks. S1, semester 1. That means we took the T1 and the T2, we averaged them together to come up with the S1 semester grade. T3 stands for third 9 weeks, third quarter, third term, however you want to say it. T4, fourth 9 weeks or fourth quarter. And we take those two grades, average them out to come up with semester two. Now, that's a lot of grades here. The only ones that truly matter are your S1, S2. Those are the two that are going to determine your GPAs. All right, so now that we understand what all those little numbers are, and you know the ones that really matter are your S1, S2. Bucket number 2 is your American government. This student is in progress for American government. So, of course, she has no grades or he has no grades. The next bucket is economics, in progress. That means no grades. Typically, US government and economics are two half credit courses that piggyback each other in a student's senior year. However, if you are ninth, 10th, 11th grader or a middle schooler and you are looking for a half credit course to take on Florida Virtual or My District Virtual to meet this online requirement and to satisfy a graduation required course, these are typically pretty decent courses to take in an online environment. Your next bucket is your world history bucket. This particular student took an AP course, completed one full credit, and the S1, S2. She did or he did good in these courses. So these together are your social studies courses. Now let's move into English. All of you know that you have to have 4 English classes in order to meet graduation. Typically, a student would do one in ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Typically, those courses would be English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4. But they don't have to be. There are some English electives, like this particular student took World Lit Honors as one of her English courses or one of his English courses. The category here tells you if they're complete and how many credits. And so, with a quick look at this student's English bucket, we see that this student has satisfied completed 1, 2, 3 credits, has one in progress, and we take a quick look at her S1, S2 grades, S1, S2, S1, S2. Now, you will take some time to complete your graduation check form for the history courses and your English courses, taking time to write in your S1, S2 grades in each of these categories. You can pause this presentation while you do that. So I'm going to pull up that form, and here, ninth grade, what English course did you take? 10th grade, what English course? This is where your S1, this is where your S2 goes. This is where your S1 score goes. This is where your S2 score goes, and so on. You've now have your name, your date, what diploma you're on, all your contact information, what barriers you have identified. You have your GPA, you've written in your credits, you've written in if you are missing one of these testing categories, you've written in whether you have met your online, you've written in your S1, S2 for English, 9th grade, English, 10th grade, English, 11th grade, English, 12th grade. We're about to go into the math bucket, then the science bucket, and down here is your history bucket. So since we've went through history, you can go ahead and write in your world history, S1, S2, your US history, S1, S2, American government, economics. If you're in progress with any of those, you will leave those blank until we know we have scores in those categories. All right, let's go back to your 9424 report, and we're going to look at your math bucket. We start with algebra because that is the first math required course, Algebra 1. We're going to go here and see this student has completed 1 credit. We have an S1, S2, but oh my gracious, we have some EOC scores. That means this course is an EOC score, and EOCs count how much of your grade? 30%. That is correct, 30%. So let's take a look at this smart student. This smart student knew how important it was To make a very good grade in an EOC course, this student made a 90A in semester 1 and semester 2. But when the EOC scores were attached to this course, it brought the grade down to an 81. That's 9 points. Well, just imagine if this student would have made a D in this course. What would that have done to the overall grade? Just remember that, especially you younger kids who haven't yet taken this EOC. You better pull some good grades in your math classes, especially ones with EOCs. So, geometry bucket, the student is complete. S1, S2. Geometry is typically a class with an EOC. This student does not have an EOC, so I'm going to bet that this student took it in COVID year 2020, where the EOC scores were waived. If you are a student who took geometry in any other year, you're going to see some EOC scores attached to those grades. And your other math electives. You should have 2 in these categories to be on track. This student took an Algebra 1A and a Liberal Arts math class. Now, I will say these classes will meet graduation requirements. If you are going for maybe college ready, for scholarships, for NCAA eligibility, those programs are looking for college tracked math classes. An Algebra 1A is not a college tracked math class. This student looks like maybe they did that in 9th grade, probably wasn't thinking about college then. So you do need to think about that, because it could be your senior year, you might end up taking 2 math classes just to make your transcript college ready transcript and competitive for some scholarships. Okay, the next category is your science category. We have biology starting off. That is a required class. The student has met a full credit, and we have her EOC or his EOC scores attached to that grade because that course is an EOC course. The other 2 science electives and the other 2 science should have lab components. The next category is PE, half credit. Half credit are required in both PE. We have the personal fitness and a PE elective, and your S1, S2. We have performing art classes that are required. We have an S1, S2, so the student has completed that as well. Now, many of you have all kinds of different options for performing arts. There's band, there's painting, there's ceramics, there's dance courses. This particular student took a business course for that. There's photography, and the list goes on and on. For PE, I do want to go ahead and say this as well, because I know we have a lot of students out there that play varsity sports. If you do play 2 years of a varsity sport, you can get a PE waiver for that. Most of our athletes, though, enjoy PE courses, and you end up taking it just because you like it. But I do want to throw that out there to let you know that if you haven't met this requirement and you are going to play 2 years of a varsity sport, or you have already played 2 years of a varsity sport, you could qualify for a PE waiver. Talk to your guidance counselor about that. And then your general elective buckets. Now, this particular student, you can see, has 10.5 credits in her or his elective bucket. So when I look through, I see a Spanish 1. When I see a Spanish 1, I always want to see a Spanish 2, because you do need 2 years of a foreign language if you're planning to go to college and get a bachelor's degree. So if you're going to take the time and effort to have a Spanish 1, you probably need to take the time and effort to have a Spanish 2. If you're interested in other foreign language classes that aren't Spanish, you may want to look on Florida Virtual School. As the public schools, we don't have that many options where foreign language is concerned, not like we used to with so many online options available. what most guidance counselors and colleges and scholarships are looking for in your elective bucket is that you're taking electives that actually advance your career pathway planning. So we're looking for CTE courses, that is, courses that are career and technical. So looking at this student, I see that we have an administrative office tech, which is a CT category. I see some AVID courses there that we certainly like, and some JFG courses called Approach to Leadership on there. So this student has taken some classes in courses that will advance career readiness. But what we really like to see is students who have completed a whole program of CTE. So if you're in welding, we want you to take welding 1, 2, 3. If you're in health science, we want you to take all the levels of health science, and business and automotive, culinary arts. The list goes on and on. We have so many different programs in so many different of our schools. If you are in a CTE category, you know what courses you need to make sure you're a program completer. And don't just be a program completer, guys. Go after those industry certifications. If you get 3 certifications, many times that leads to college credit. So talk to your CTE teachers to make sure you are getting the maximum benefit out of taking those CTE courses. If you are a 9th grader, a 10th grader, or better yet, a middle schooler, then you need to prepare now for taking your CTE courses and taking those industry certifications. So let's go back and review now how important it is to understand this 9424 and identifying any barriers that you have and making a plan for your future courses. So now you have the information to complete your English categories, your math categories, your science categories, your world history categories, your PE performing art, your electives, and we want to know, are you a CTE program completer? Yes or no? What program did you complete? Were you in health science, welding, automotive, business, culinary? Certifications, have you earned any? And then any type of graduation notes that you need to make. What is your transition plan? College, VOTEC, military? Are you going to do an apprenticeship program or go straight to an employment? And then what organization are you going to go into? What college? What VOTEC? What branch of the military? What program in as an apprentice? What company? And then go over this plan with either one of your teachers, mentors, guidance counselors, review your plan, have your parents sign it, and bring a copy of this plan back to your guidance counselor so they can keep it in your cumulative record. Okay, now we are done with 9424s. We are going to advance to the next slide. Now that you have identified your barriers, testing, GPA, credits, courses that you might need to repair, online courses, now you know what barriers are in your way of crossing that finish line. So don't just identify the barriers, come up with a plan of breaking through those barriers, which takes us to this slide, your SMART goals. Setting goals are not just saying it. It's not just speaking it. It's not just identifying what those barriers are. It's coming up with a plan to remove those barriers. So SMART goals are all about being very specific, having it measurable, achievable, realistic, and in some type of time frame. So let's go through an example. I'm going to be specific in my goal. What do I want to do? Well, let's say one of my barriers is testing. I haven't passed yet my graduation reading test, my FSA ELA. So my goal is to sign up for the December SAT, so I can try to meet the concordance score with the SAT to meet this graduation requirement. Number two, the M isn't measurable. How will I know when I've reached it? Well, I must know what score I'm going after. If you're a senior in the class of 2021, then you know that your concordance score is a 430 on the SAT for reading, or you can make a 24 in the sub score. That's what we want you to know. Identify what your goal is. What is the number? How are you going to measure it? If you're just taking the SAT and you have no idea what score you need to get, then you're not very prepared for that test. Achievable. Is it in your power to accomplish this? How are you going to prepare? How are you going to achieve this? So, if I'm writing my SMART goal and my barrier is that reading graduation test, then I'm going to get some help to prepare for that test. I am going to go on Khan Academy. I'm going to do all of the lessons to prepare me for that reading section. I'm going to go on collegeboard.com and do all of the different help sessions that they have online in order for me to get my reading score up and meet the concordance. Is this realistic? Can you realistically achieve this goal? As long as I sign up, print my admission ticket, know what day my test is, I have to be at school at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday to take this test, and I also sometimes have to pay for this test if I don't qualify for a fee waiver. So, have I done all those things? Am I realistically going to do this? And a time frame. Remember, guys, there are only so many chances left with SAT. We have December, we have March, April, May, and June. And if you take it in May and June, that's not going to help you graduate and walk across that stage for the ceremony, because that will be after graduation. So you really only have 3 SAT chances left: December, March, April. Do the math, you seniors. Don't let testing opportunities pass you by. Set your SMART goals now and make sure you have a plan in place to achieve those goals. All right, your post-secondary pathway. We expect all of you to graduate on time. We want 100% graduation. So graduation is not really a goal of ours, it is an expectation. Our goals are to help you transition to be a successful adult. So the first way we do that is to help you plan for your post-secondary pathway. Your pathways are either university, traditional college, community or state college, vocational, technical, VOTEX. All of those are the same name for technical education centers, apprenticeships, careers, and military. If you are going to any college or university, there are certain things you need to know. Number one, is your college or university public or private? There's a big difference between those two. You also need to be sure that your college is accredited. If you are going to a public college, it is accredited. If you're going to a private one, you're going to pay a lot of money, and you better do your research to be sure that it is accredited. There's also some requirements for those programs. The requirements for the university, traditional college, community, or state college are deadlines, some testing requirements, transcripts, residency forms. If you are going to a university, you need to check out the Florida SUS Matrix. You can find that online to know what those requirements and deadlines are. If you are going to college, you need to think about housing. Where are you going to live? Some colleges require freshmen to live on campus. Funding. That brings us to the FAFSA, the required government form that you got to fill out if you want any money whatsoever for college. Unless your parents are multimillionaires, you all need to complete the FAFSA because no scholarships for students who do not complete this form. It is not an option. You got to have the FAFSA done. And we in Putnam County work so closely with the wonderful St. John's River State College. Whether you plan to go to St. John's or not, they're still going to help you complete the FAFSA. I'm going to be there. Miss Brown's going to be there. Miss Cobble's going to be there. Many of your guidance counselors are going to be there. So mark your calendar. Monday, October 12th. That is just in a few more days. We want to see you there, 6 to 8 p.m. in the Viking Center so we can help you get this requirement done. You will need your parents or guardians because not only do students have to have a FAFSA account, your parents or guardians do as well. Vocational or technical schools have all of those same requirements over here. Sometimes they require different testing too. So you need to check out your vocational colleges and find out what is the requirement for the program you are interested in. Every one of these colleges have residency forms. So if you're planning to go to a college, let's take Daytona State for an example, you need to go on their website, download their Florida residency form to get in-state tuition. Because if you do not get in-state tuition, you're talking double the tuition. So you must get your residency form done and submitted. And there are deadlines for that. Do not be a slacker. Get those residency forms done and submitted. Apprenticeship programs are one of my all-time favorite pathways because you earn certifications as you get paid and learn. Some apprenticeship programs are 5 years long. Some apprenticeship programs are based on how many hours you put into it. But you do, at the end of an apprenticeship, will take a certification exam that you're prepared for because you've worked beside a professional for years learning that trade. They have great benefit packages. The competition for those are pretty steep. So you need to be checking out what apprenticeship programs are out there and how you qualify for those programs. Careers. You can go straight to work, straight out of high school, and still have amazing careers in front of you as long as you know where to look and how to prepare. So the first thing you need to know is what are your occupational interests and go into a career or business that supports that. Find out what is their requirements. Many of these type of careers do have employment testing requirements, so you need to find out about those testings and how you prepare for that. What skills, tasks, what are the job descriptions of some of the positions that they may have? You might have to start out at the ground floor and work your way up into advancement opportunities that are available if you start straight out of high school. Research the company, know what kind of benefit packages they have in the advancement opportunities. And then the other pathway that is amazing because it incorporates everything you see here. That is the military. So the first thing you need to know is what branch are you interested in? What is the difference between the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, Space Force, the Army? Find out. Coast Guard. What is it that each of them do and the job that you want to go into? Which one of those branches have the job that you want? Find out what the requirements are. There's different requirements for different branches. Find out what the ASVAB scores required are. A lot of students find out what score do I need to make to get into the Army. They find out what that score is and they set that as their goal. Well, what you need to find out is what is the score for the job that you are interested in. So if you're interested in becoming a nurse and you want to work towards that, then find out what ASVAB score you need to get a job in the nursing department with the military. You will have benefit packages, all kinds of great benefits, and many times for the rest of your life. But they also have other special opportunities and some bonuses. They also have reserve programs. So please make an appointment now with a military recruiter to find out more about these pathways and if you might be a good fit for a military career. Here are some important resources that you can come back to. The Common App, whether you are going to college or not. Maybe let's say you don't know right now. You need to complete the college app. For one, you can get it for free if you get free or reduced lunch. You need to complete this and then print out a copy because this becomes your cheat sheet for all the applications that you can fill out for college because they require your GPA. What classes have you taken? What were your grades in those classes? It's going to ask you all of these questions. So if you fill out the Common App, you can use that as a cheat sheet for any other applications that you may end up filling out for college. Your FAFSA, this is the website. If you want to try and complete the FAFSA on your own, it opened October 1st. The sooner you complete your FAFSA, the more money that is on the table for you. The longer you wait, the less money you're going to have access to. So you need to make plans October 12th, 6 to 8 at St. John's River State College and join us for the FAFSA frenzy, and let's get this done for you. Your Florida Student Financial Aid is a requirement for all seniors. Most people think about this as the Florida Bright Futures, but I think there's 13 other state scholarships. That might be 11 this year. That fluctuates from year to year. It's usually between 13 and 10. I think there's 11 on the site right now. But you do have to complete the application. And for all of these things that I'm showing you, you're going to have a login and a password. So make sure you're keeping up with all your logins and passwords as you go. And then here are my favorite scholarship search engines for those of you that are in your 11th or 12th grade year. You'll want to start building accounts on these to find scholarships to help fund your education beyond high school. I will post this webinar on the federal programs, PCSD federal programs page. So you can come back and refer to it as needed with these resources. And last but not least, this is great for every one of our Putnam County students. Florida Shines, www.floridashines.org. You can take virtual tours of all the colleges. You can do job exploration, career exploration. There's all kinds of things you can do on this website. So if you've never been on there, please check it out. Also, job searches, Indeed.com, EmployFlorida.com, Monster.com. Not only can you find jobs that are available in our area in the state of Florida, you can also get your resumes completed online. They have resume help, they have templates, they have cover letters, they have interview skills. There's little video clips to help you in anything and everything that has to do with job searches. And if you're the kind of person that wants to have a face-to-face meeting with an amazing expert, you must meet Miss Janet Cobble. She's our Putnam County School District's career specialist and one of my favorite people in Putnam County. We love our Miss Cobble. Her email is jcobble@my.putnamschools.org. In every single high school in Putnam County, she has an office somewhere. So you need to check out your guidance office and say, how can I make an appointment with Miss Cobble? Or you can email her to get an appointment. If you're in middle schools, guess what? She is coming your way and I'm bringing her. So Miss Cobble is amazing and I cannot wait for y'all to meet her. So this is the end of my presentation. Guys, I just want to make sure you're on track. You got a lot of information in today's presentation. I hope you were able to soak it all up. If not, we will post this and you can look at it again, take some more time, maybe even bring your parents and let them watch it too. All right, guys, over and out. We'll talk soon. Catch you on the flip side.